Bam. Bam, we are live. Alright. So I wanted to do this overall stream just to just to go over my affiliate domination plan for 2023. To give you guys some background about me, I've been marketing for 13 years now in the agency space for that long. My first agency worked with massive sporting brands, so basically learned everything from that. That was back like 2010, maybe even earlier than 2010. Then after that, about 7 years ago, I co-founded another agency, Grow Rev Marketing, with a really good friend of mine, Rohan, and basically, went all in on that one. Grew it to a massive place. Recently took an exit to it, just due to affiliate marketing. I thought, it was time to move on from that. It's one of those interesting situations where the agency space is great. It's very profitable, but I just basically wanted to move on. I have lots of kids. I wanted to do something. Happy New Year, Jemerson. I wanted to do something. During this agency, like 2020, I started affiliate marketing and I got amazing success. Couldn't complain about the success level that I had there. I got ClickBank Platinum in my first year. It was probably even my first couple months, to be honest. I found a product and just absolutely blew it up. And so on the side, I was just doing affiliate marketing for significant amounts of money, etc., and just built it from there. So from that, I've learned lots of lessons and basically created like an affiliate framework that I'm teaching free. Help people out. I believe it's a big enough market that everybody could advertise in it. And if your goal is just being like, okay, I'm just going to copy exactly what he does, it's probably not going to be that successful. You got to do stuff that you love, to put in the effort and everything for it. But it significantly pays out when you actually like what you're doing, and when you're promoting good products that aren't just like temporary products that get your grandma's face account banned. So basically the goal today is go over just kind of what my plan is for 2023. This is my exact plan. It may change, and it's already changed a little bit too at the same time, like as I explore and find kind of more stuff that works, better sustainable stuff that I like more too at the same time, and I like the stuff that profits more, and just basically jumped into it. So I got Galaxy on Galaxy right now. That's right. We're doing the full Galaxy. Time of day kind of sucks to do this, but whatever, lighting wise, but I can't be perfect. At least I have this working a bit better right now. So it's basically Matt's 5-step plan to make affiliate money in 2023. I got notes too. I prepared for this stream just so I can make it as kind of valuable as possible. And I just I'll start out by jumping into it and like what's the goal, what's the setup, and everything else. Like number one, you set up a niche, and really the whole reason you want to do this is you want to basically do something that you like doing. Like I don't recommend like just okay, here's the main money making niches. It's like, no, I wouldn't even compete in those. Find something that you actually like or love, or you don't have to be absolutely in love with it, but it could be stuff that you want to do, stuff that you want to actually promote. And so when picking a niche, there's hacks and tricks to being able to do it. For me, at the time, I was into like survival stuff, and it was the beginning of the vid, so everyone was like in that survival space and everything else. It was a good product, and I'm a doomsday preppers watcher. I enjoy everything with that. Let me just cut my video frame so we can see the Galaxy on Galaxy here. But let's go. I did this with Photoshop because I'm a noob. I don't do graphic design. But basically for a niche, it's like, what do you like? You know, what's something that you would be excited to build? What kind of products do you want to sell? And that's going to give you an advantage. If you're into cars, you know, you can make a car publication. If you're into, and it's good for it to be general too at the same time. So you want to make it something pretty general. Like examples of some of the niches I go after is like survival slash prepper, self-sufficiency. There's lots of different products there, and there's lots of different. You don't have to just sell those products, but it's stuff that those people would also be interested in. It's not just, you're not just looking for like exact products. You're looking for stuff that correlates. It's all about correlation. Same with like ad targeting and everything. Another one is a parenting publication. So I'm a parent of like 700 kids and a cat. So, you know, it makes sense. I have lots of experience in the parent space, and being able to basically do good in that space. Like one of the things with the niche too is it's like you really have to think at the core, how can you make the world better? You know, how can you just basically go and create something that makes the world a better place in general. So like that's one of the key things where it's like when I do these blogs, it's like, all right, I have to add value to this industry. And, you know, you have to want to add value. Another one you could do is like products that help seniors. That's another niche that I'm in, where it's like, I'm not a senior yet. I will be. But I want to promote products that make their life easier. Or maybe, you know, some stuff that they don't have right now that can make their life better, etc. Can't forget about our Peggies and Harolds. Not a good thing to forget about. So, and it's like, it's a very general thing. So like with parenting products, I could even kind of sell the survival and prepper stuff, basically being like, hey, you know, with home medicine or like stockpiling food and all this other stuff, that could be beneficial to your family, and you could do it together with your family too, at the same time. So when you pick a niche, like what you can do is you can really just go to the affiliate networks, and you can look at the categories that they have. And a lot of those categories are niches, and you don't have to worry like, oh, Matt, there's no money in sports. It's like for every niche, there's somebody making $1 million per month or more. So, you know, don't worry about that. If you like gaming, go after a gaming product. That can be, you know, that could be just as effective too at the same time. So it's like really with a niche, you want to just promote stuff you like or love. That's my message there. Don't go after like, oh, I'm going to do a financial services blog because that's where the money is. It's like, no, you won't be motivated behind it. You won't be choosing to help people first. You'll just be like, whenever money's your goal, it's not going to work. You make decisions based on money, and those are usually short-term decisions that kill you on the long term. So like, don't go after a niche just because you're like, oh, I heard this person's making lots of money in it, etc. Go after something you like. It's something you got to build, and what's going to motivate you in the morning. Like, you know, it's when you wake up in the morning, are you going to want to promote services that you don't like? Maybe you hate horses and you have a horse training blog or something, or horse, you know, like teaching horseback riding. Well, why? You're not going to have the same kind of motivation for it. So there's lots of different things there. And like once you create a niche, there's lots of stuff that you get caught up on. And that's like affiliate dreams die and marketing dreams die when you get caught up on stuff that doesn't actually matter. It's like the name, for example. The name isn't that important. You can name it anything. Like, think of the #1 domain site in the world is called GoDaddy. What the fuck does that have to do with domains? It doesn't have anything to do with it. Like, they named it GoDaddy. You know? Come on. You can name it bloody anything you want, as long as it doesn't have like a negative connotation. You're completely fine for it. So like you get stuck on stuff where it's like you pick the niche and you're like, oh, let me spend the next 7 months figuring out the name for it. It's got to be perfect. No, it doesn't really matter. You're looking at stuff that's going to make more than a 1% or a 10% difference. Like a good name is good, and you do have to lock into it, but it's also really easy to change it in the future. So let's say you're like, you know, you learn different things with names. Coming from a guy with my first website design business I ever made was called Stylistics Design, and I didn't realize that spelling that over the phone was fucking impossible. STYLISTICS DESIGN.com. So I'm trying to sell these people, and I'm like, yeah, just email me at mattfarmer at. They're like, okay. And I'm like struggling to spell it myself. So like simple is good. Like GoDaddy is, everybody knows how to spell GoDaddy. So go for more like something spellable than being like, it must be the perfect name, you know? Parentinguniverse.com. And a lot of them are taken too at the same time. Be unique. It's a brand, but you can also change it. Don't let anything kind of stop you on that niche, or like, it's better to do action and like do it bad at first and then fix it. I do it with my landing pages all the time, where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do a shit version first, and then I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna make it better. So basically, you know, going from that level. And then next thing everyone gets caught up on is your logo. Logo probably makes 0% difference in whether somebody buys from you or not. It's kind of like, as long as it looks okay, like as long as it's not hurting you, you know? Like if your logo is just like something awful that can get you canceled, yeah, that's bad. That's hurting you. But other than that, no one buys based on like, when was the last time you bought a product because you're like, I like their logo, I gotta buy this. Like, fuck the product quality or what I'm actually getting or how it affects my life or anything else. They got a good logo, let's buy. You know, it's not the reason. Unless they've pumped a ton into their brand for the logo, like Nike, etc. And then that becomes like how you're recognized, etc. But that's also something that you can refine over time. Don't let it stop you from perfection. Or just not even from perfection, but from actually starting in affiliate marketing. Like that's the worst possible thing you can do on your side, is just be like, oh man, you know, I'll start next week because we don't got a logo yet. You know, it's not it's one of those things where, you know, definitely don't let that stop you. Don't let that be the reason why you're like, okay, you know, I can't get started. We don't have a perfect logo yet. It's going, we'll wait until we get a perfect logo and then we'll go from there. It's like, no, definitely don't do that by any means. So that's going to be basically one of those things, like, just don't be perfect with it. And the thing is, like, maybe your first try won't work, or maybe you would just be like, fuck, I hate parenting. or just change it up from there. And that's why, you know, you can make it broad and everything else. And it doesn't mean, like, when you pick a niche, it doesn't mean you have to become like the absolute expert. I'm not an expert in parenting. I have lots of kids. I know all the stuff that makes my life better, but I'm not here writing articles like, here's the top 5 stroller reviews. You know, OpenAI is for that. GPT. Let that do all the... But you don't even need articles on it. Like my current blog right now, like publication, most of them, they don't have a single article written by me on it. It's just basically a product site, where there's nothing wrong with a website that recommends really cool products. Like if I really like something, if I like gaming, for example, and this is a gaming product site, they're like, we find the best gaming products, and I find something really cool where, you know, it's like, if you get shot in the video game, a paintball gun shoots you while you're playing. Sure, why not? You know, that's a cool product. I'll scroll through and check out what other stuff they have. It's like that curation thing. Curation is worth so much money. That's what Google does. That's what Facebook technically does with their algorithm. They're just like a post curator, by all means. So it's like, you pick a niche. I'd recommend spending some time on it. Not a lots of time. Don't use it as an excuse, but don't. And I also have a rule, and I give this rule to my wife when we make any kind of purchases. Not that I don't make stupid, I have so many stupid purchases. I could show you a suit that I bought that is probably the dumbest purchase you could ever make. But I have like a 24-hour rule, where if you still feel good about it after 24 hours, then go, you know, don't stop. Decision making is like one of the biggest things, and like problem solving and everything else. And like, I really judge people. I think a lot of intelligence is how fast you could come to, like, how fast you could make a decision on anything, and not, you know, it's like shopping with some people. Yeah, mom, talking to you. If she's there looking at 2 cans of tomato soup, reading the label, everything else, and 3 cans, she's like, uh, uh, puts them both back and like, all right, whatever. Don't do that. um, Next we got offers. So once you select a niche, definitely go after the offer. I hope this, of course, it's winter here and people are just leaf blowing up in absolute storm. They're like, all right, today looks like a good day to start leaf blowing everything. I don't think it's fully picking up though, so we should be good. That whole paintball gun would be great right now. Just out my window. Pa, pa, pa. Kidding. Don't do that. I don't condone any illegal activities. Next one we got is the offers. So for the offers, when I first did it, so story time with Matt. The first time I picked an offer, I went on the network and I realized, like, I knew that a lot of the offers, but there's a lot of rot in there and there's a lot of stuff that you don't want to promote just because of like ethical wise and everything, like, you know, stuff where it's like, oh, cure your cancer by reading this ebook. No, didn't want that. So I went through ClickBank. I basically looked at every single offer that they had. They had like 3,500 offers at the time, but I'm like, it's worthwhile. It gives you an idea of like kind of like what's going on, what's big. You can see what's being promoted, etc. You kind of click around, then you go on like Facebook ad library and you see like who's promoting it and what they're doing for it and everything else. And then I also had requirements, so that was an easy way to cut out a lot of products. Where for the whole vision, I knew that if I advertised a product, I wouldn't be able to sell something where I get $1 commission, because it's going to be impossible to get click cost where it needs to be. You like your conversion rates and everything, like the cost to get traffic to it would mean that it's impossible at $1. So I wanted something with kind of like a minimum $25 payout. Ideally, more is better. I'd prefer 30 to 40. And it's also nice to have something that has like upsells where you could potentially make, like the first product I picked was, it was a $24 US product, but because it's US dollar, I'd get like whatever, $34 per sale. Well, maybe not that much. At the time, it was still quite a bit. But there was an upsell potential that I could make up to like $120. So I'm like, okay, the math works out here. If I have just standard conversion rates, it's gonna work, you know? Like, it'll work. I don't have to pull a rabbit out of a hat in order to basically make it work. Which was one of the, that's like one of the ideal things, is you definitely don't want it to be impossible from the beginning. And you also have to factor, like, feel free. You don't want it to be impossible. Oh, double. I just want to make sure I got all chat up, because the chat doesn't work properly when I do an event like this. So that's great. Thanks, Restream. But yeah, basically, I look at a bunch of offers, and I also tell myself I told myself from the beginning, if this fails, I'll try more until I find one that works, or I'll just do more research and crack it. So I got pretty lucky with the first offer. And expectations too at the same time. I didn't really know the affiliate world, even though I'd been marketing and spent hundreds of $1,000,000 on ads across every single platform. I didn't know the affiliate game. It was new territory. So it's like I set my expectations where I was like, maybe I could buy, or maybe I could pay a phone bill with it. Like that extra, it was the crazy vid time. And I was like, maybe I could get some benefit from it, where I can pay a phone bill per month, and that makes it financially better. Like, I had the agency at the time, so I was just thinking, like, worst case scenario, what if all the clients leave? It was one of those times where it was definitely you're either motivated by goals or fear. It was a fear motivation at the time, where it was like, damn, I gotta figure something out here, because I have a lot of kids to support, and if I can't find something extra, and I would have tried other stuff, I would have went into, maybe I'd try an e-com store, maybe I'd try I was basically willing to do it, where I'm like, if I try this really hard for like a whole month, I'll probably be able to make it work. And of course I got lucky for it. Also, next on the offer side, it's just like, really, I wanted to be ethical with it, and there's a bunch of reasons that you want to, but I just wanted to make sure that the product, it's like, is it doing good in the world? And the question I would ask myself is like, because you're not always the demographic for your product, but I'd ask myself, like, would I personally buy it, or would I be mad if my mom bought it and was like, felt like she got ripped off, etc. Um, Coming from the coral calcium days where that stuff was just like a lie. Oh, it does this and this, and it's just like, it was just a Ponzi scheme. So knowing that there is a lot of rot in the market, but staying away from scams. I didn't want to really do, like, say, the MLM setup where I get rich promoting somebody else's course by getting other people to promote and like do the whole level up there. I knew I wanted something kind of like ideally a physical product. Digital products work too. You can sell digital products, they're good. But just for my older demographic, they like, they like pulling out a book, and they like reading that book, and just like having a physical, just a physical thing that they can hold. I believe there's like lots of actual value there. Um, so it's good. So you have to make sure it's going to do good for the world on the athlete. You don't have to, but please do. And you'll feel a lot better about it too, and be able to put more into it. But it's not a scam. It's not. It's not bad. It's also like at the same time buy the product. It may take a couple days to ship there, but you could use it for multiple ways. Number one, you'll get a commission from it, so you're not actually paying the full price for the product. You're not supposed to do it, but you can do it. And then you also have the product that you can give your own review for. You could take pictures of it for your ads, so you don't have to use all the ads and stuff that they provide. Like, that's one of the really big advantages there too. At the same time, is just like, if it's not a scam and it's ethical, you shouldn't mind buying it. That's one of the big things. And if it's like, oh, it's too expensive for me to buy, then it's probably too expensive for your demographic. If you are the demographic, buy it for if you have the demographic in your family, buy it. I'll buy it for my mom, take the commission, and basically, yeah, go from there. The next reason why you don't want it to be a scam and you want it to be ethical is compliance with ad policy and just longevity. So there's so many affiliate courses out there right now where they'll get like, people get their grandma's ad account banned for lots of different things, and it becomes like, that becomes their burner account where they use like family members' ad accounts, and it's not a sustainable thing. I have no disrespect for anybody who does the whole like burner thing to get around compliance, where they'll go through multiple ad sets and know they're out of compliance. But I think for longevity and not waking up one morning and being like, well, that ended because Facebook found a way to ban all ads, or like they prevented this, or you can't do this, and etc. It also adds quite a bit of a cost. Like, you can buy ad accounts and all this like gray area black hat stuff, and I just don't recommend it. Like, of course there's really good ways of hiding, and there's people that know how to do it, and you can pay for it, but that's just you have to make up that difference. Like, you spend a whole bunch of money, and then you're going to have to keep spending a whole bunch of money to keep it going, and everything else. They'll eventually get hit again. They'll have problems. But compliance on the ad platform side is also an indicator that you're probably not in compliance with government agencies. And let's say you get successful with it. You don't want to get yourself a good old Kevin David knock on the door. Who recently got hit by the FTC, where they're like, hey, you sold all these. Usually marketers get away free from it, but you sold all these products that are very illegal because they make these claims or they do this. It's like, usually if they're ad policy compliant, and I'm no lawyer, I'm not telling you like this is the best way to do it. Consult your local lawyer. But if you're selling something like anything, well, let's just say like a spatula. You sell a spatula, you're not breaking any kind of laws there. The FTC or whatever, the FDA, isn't going to come kick down your door and be like, you sold the trillions of dollars worth of spatulas, and they're, those weren't regulation spatulas. You're going to get in trouble for that. So really, on the offer side, it's like, figure out kind of what your requirements are. I just gave mine there, where it's like a minimum $25. It just makes it easier with my strategy. It doesn't have to use my strategy, and I'll go over some of the other stuff that I see affiliates doing. And of course, I'm finding more and more out day by day, because I'm willing to challenge kind of what's working, because there's lots of strategies that used to work that no longer work anymore. Pinterest. Why does everybody know about this whole make money from Pinterest thing? Like, I swear Pinterest is spreading it just so they could get more users, for fuck's sakes. It's absolutely crazy. So the next is, you got your niche, you got your offers, and then I just make a simple publication. Um, Publication is easy. Like I said, you don't have to write articles. The articles are your products themselves, or they could be reviews or just other ways to market them. But there's a lot of reasons to the publication strategy. One is it gives you flexibility. You can do lots of different type, like publications aren't limited to only articles. You could call it like a blog or whatever. It's a thing, but like publications are very flexible. So if I have to change my ad strategy, I could try different things. Like I could try, doing an article about it, putting the landing page on it, calling it a top product. I can do just unlimited flexibility on those publications. And like one of the big advantage and why I wanted to do it is you have to realize like there's short-term money and then there's long-term money, and long-term money usually has big payouts, but it takes a long time to get to it, like building an agency or doing something like that. um, the advantage to publication is it gives you an asset that you could technically sell and gain value in it. Like if you're collecting emails, like a lot of these affiliate marketers, they'll have like 1 million people on their email list, and you know how much that's worth? They get there's a reason why they call it multiples. You don't just get the amount for what it's worth and the revenue, you get a multiple of that revenue. So I've been involved in a lot of publications, and yeah, there's a lot of editorial and stuff with most of them, but it doesn't need to be that way. You can basically make the site however you want to see, or however you want it to be on that end. And you can even create content for it, and it gives you a brand that you can separate to, that's also really easy to rebrand. Like let's say if you change your mind or something, also for creating, it's like a distribution channel really, but then you're able to create a Facebook page for it and just separate it from yourself. So you don't have to be, Matt Farmer's Parenting Products. Doesn't have to be that. It could be a separate brand that if I wanted to take an exit from it, it'll have revenue, it'll have expenses, it'll have pretty much everything to it. It'll have a list that you're building, it'll have customers, and that all has a significant amount of value. So that kind of gives you a long-term payout where it's just like, hey, you know, let's say you finally want to get out of the parenting game. I adoption off my kids, and I'm like, nah, parenting's good. I can sell the asset instead of just deleting it and having it make nothing on that side. Don't mind me. I have degenerate humor, so I like to joke about stuff. But of course, I never do that. And it's just the whole trusted brand thing too. At the same time, when you get lots of likes on the page and you can build it up, and because you're building it up with multiple offers, you have multiple offers that are pushing likes and traffic and everything to the brand. So what happens there is like your brand will technically grow, and it makes it easier to do the next product. So you're not basically starting from scratch every time. You could send them, and it gives you an ability to do stuff like a listicle, where you're like, you promote 5 products and you're like top 5 recommended products from whatever your brand is. Matt's horse wrangling, um, top 5 horse saddles, I don't know, and Hermes is the number one. Use my link. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's really like the publication strategy. You could use multiple affiliate networks. You could use multiple offers. It also gives you a lot of control. So you could be using just the affiliate landing page and like the affiliates assets, and that's what they prefer. But I don't prefer it. So I push back because I want to have full control. So I can do all the stuff like tracking. I own the server. I can do lots of different things. Like it gives me big advantages where I'll basically build the offers. I'll rebuild the offers on that landing page, and I'm able to have stuff like exit pops where I grab emails, or I'll be able to do stuff like basically anything for it in general. And then I just do somewhat of like a co-brand for it. So it works really well. There's also a new rule. So you used to be able to just on Facebook ads pretend like you're the brand, I could be like, I could make a Facebook page, Hermes horse saddles, and pretend like I'm them. Now, due to like a third party rule, it's no longer allowed. You can't do it. It's not one of those things you're allowed to do on your side anymore, where you pretend to be the brand or anything. So if you do this product, and a lot of products don't allow it anyways, and of course they don't want it. It's a liability, because there's going to be some asshole that says some horrible things, and they're going to have to answer to all the government agencies and everything else. So you don't want to do that to begin with, and it's like questionable on the ethical side and everything else, versus as a publication you could still host a landing page and just call it, hey, here's parent top products, and then I can do whatever I want on that side and do like a co-branding thing where it's like, brought to you by, and it also gives you less heat for the actual product itself, because an affiliate should take care of their customer support and everything else, and they won't be reaching out to you. They'll be reaching out to the actual brand that they should be reaching out to. So it's like, hey, Peggy, don't talk shit in my comments, just email the brand. Like, I just sold the item. They have to take care of you. So you kind of go from there. So it's like, once you've done that, and on the publication side, there's lots of ways to advertise it. Right now, one of my biggest things is I just recreate the landing page as a top product. I'm doing some new stuff too, where it's like, that's step one, but you can do other things on it as well, where now I make like a shorter landing page, because a lot of these direct response ones, I don't believe they convert better because they don't let you buy until the bottom, and I see kind of like a 50% gain. And I think there's also like another thing you get hit with when you're advertising direct to an affiliate offer is duplicate content. So Facebook can see if you're using content that other people are using in ads. They can see copy, images, domain. I almost call it like, what's your duplication score? And if you use all their assets and their domain, your score is 100% duplication. So you're going to end up paying more for it. They'll charge you more, and you don't want to use it. So if you could use a separate domain, that helps you on your score, which like your publication. So even if you have the exact same landing page, you'll do better sending to that landing page, because they're like, okay, this isn't he's not advertising the same landing page. And then you can do text tweaks. Like, you can another thing with publication is you can make stuff policy compliant, which gives you a really big advantage. Like, let's say, for example, they do a product where it's not their fault. They're used to selling via email and stuff, and you're like, hey, that can't be done on Facebook, but I can make some tweaks and make it so, they don't claim that you're able to grow a new leg, or something like that. I can just not include that. I can do different things there. So that's another advantage to it. But yeah, lately I've just been doing whole new landing pages, just using the same model. It's a really simple thing to do, and that gets another level of duplicate content. So now they see, okay, he's not using the domain, so we get points there, and yeah, just kind of going from there. So since Terra, is it worth buying a blog with decent SEO to use an affiliate site? Maybe. One thing is, you will have to take over development of the blog. So you can go out and purchase them, and they can be really cheap too. Like, you can do it, but it's a question of like, you don't know how they built it too. You'd really have to do your due diligence, because like, I use a WordPress Oxygen, which is just so much better. And the whole thing is, it's like, if you have to buy a blog and then put it on a different platform or make it better, what's the point? You might as well own the business. You might as well not pay for it and just get credit for it. Like, yeah, you could get a domain and stuff if it makes sense and it's cheap, but the SEO scores and everything, like, SEO is technically a good vote on Google's confidence, so you're going to do good in Google ads, and typically on Facebook ads too at the same time. So you can get an advantage there. There is shortcuts. It's a whole like pay to play type thing. You don't have to do it all yourself. You can, for most of this stuff, you can just basically subcontract. There's lots of people that do development and everything, and you can get it done for $5 an hour. Completely, yeah, just everything taken care of. So it's one of those things. You can do it, and it may be worthwhile, and it's one of those things where you can look for the opportunity for it. Like, if one came to my door, and I've definitely done that, but at the same time, I was doing in the testing phase, so I wanted to test all aspects of it. But if it's on WordPress and you don't think it has too far to go to be able to go on Oxygen, and they've updated it and it's good and everything, and even if they don't have much revenue, if they just have good SEO, a good name, it's completely fine to do that. That's a possibility, but you will want to figure out on the development side, like, will I need a special developer in order to even work with this? It's like, what system do they have it on? Do they have it on like a Joomla? If they have good SEO, it probably already has good page speed and everything else, but you also know that you'll have to likely build a landing page under that, or use like a subdomain and install a WordPress Oxygen there for it. So sometimes it just comes down to the question of like, hey, cheaper to just develop it yourself and then just change the name. But you will get the advantage of content and everything. So that is it's a shortcut. It's one of those things you can do. And I don't think that it's going to. I look at, like, for every good thing there's usually bad side effects too. I look at what are possibly the bad side effects, and that would be it. If you got yourself into a nightmare where you're like, yeah, I bought this amazing blog with great SEO, but damn, I overpaid for it, they're faking the numbers, or damn, it's on really bad technology, or like, or anything like that. But it, or you could just look at it as this is the cost to acquire the name and a domain with authority, and you don't have to build from complete scratch. So that can be an advantage too. And there's, especially during this time, you can, lots of people are willing to take that kind of an offer. So you could get deals, you could get great deals. And even buying domain names, like if you've spent over 25,000 buying a domain before, put up your hand. It's like, yeah, it's almost like buying a domain name. So you may be able to get a better deal just buying the whole thing instead of just like going out and finding some perfect domain name. And that's 25,000 you have to make up for. So it's like, okay, you got to make up for this with success. In a publication, you can do lots. So just talking about what other affiliates do, there's stuff like, and they call them bridge pages. You could also call them like advertorials or whatever you want to call them. But there's lots of different strategies where they do like a pre-sale article, and a lot of networks provide them where you could actually just have an article that you send. It's adding another step to the funnel. So they go from ad to article, and that article is typically like a advertorial where it's a paid review where you're getting a bias there. And then from there, it goes to the checkout and everything else, and you could own the whole landing page. That works. You could do stuff like listicles, and listicles are really good when you have multiple products, especially during Christmas season. It's like the top 10 products that parents need during for December 2022. Like, advertorials convert great because you have more chances of actually converting people through. You do have more steps too at the same time, and it is cheaper to advertise content than it is to a direct response landing page, because you're either, when you're advertising, you're usually either advertising content or you're advertising like a product. So direct response and content marketing. And people know, like, the click-through rates on direct response are a lot lower than content, and they always will be. Like going to a listicle, and I'm testing a couple right now. Basically, I'm getting like 15% click-through rates, and clicks for very cheap, but they do have to go through more hops, and they do have potential to buy lots of different products for it. So like listicles can work really good for it. Advertorials work really good, and that's like the stuff that you'll see on major websites like Fox News and CNN and etc. You see lots of, like, look at all those credit card deals, top 5 credit cards of 2023. Those are all just people doing affiliate marketing. So it's like, you want to take a look at what's going on there, but there's a million ways to sell. I find I like to do as least steps as possible and just get people interested in the product instead of driving a massive amount. Like, instead of driving a huge audience that I have to funnel down more, I like to drive a smaller audience that are more likely to convert through. And I find it just gives my pixel a lot more indicators and everything else, especially with like the current meta for it. So that's one of those things where there's a million different ways to do it. And like, you almost want to, when you do, like, let's say you find an offer, you search Facebook ads library and see who's promoting it, and search Google and see who's promoting it, and see what they're doing, because there's a lot of different strategies, and some strategies, they send them to websites that look like shit, but there's a reason why they're advertising them, because they actually work. So you want to see like what's going on. You could even do stuff like quizzes, and then the quiz results in an actual product. Like, what parenting book is best for you? You ask them how many kids they have, etc. And then you're harvesting their information too at the same time. So quizzes, like, everybody's willing to do a quiz, but that quiz is fucking bullshit. There's no real result you get from it. And you're like, oh, Matt, why did you change your life? It's like, well, I did a Facebook quiz. And I saw that, I put in the inputs and this. No, a lot of the times quizzes are just tactically grabbing all your information. So they're building a beautiful database from you, and then from there you're gonna get email ads for like the products that you fall under and everything else. So that could be a way to do it. I like to try my method first, and then I start jumping into the other one. So you prove your offer on your strongest method. So the way that you find that works, you prove it. Like you spend a bit of money, and that kind of goes into the ad strategy. I start with Facebook ads. I find still it's probably the best when it comes to converting and cost without having to spend a lot of money. Like YouTube is great, not always great for the lower ticket stuff, but there's usually you have to spend a lot. I consider like the first $1,000 spent on YouTube just wasted algorithm training. So with Facebook, you can get sales kind of on like day 3, day 4, maybe day 2. Typically not day 1. Like it does take a bit. I changed my budgets yesterday. I was 100%ing so many things, and because it kind of reset the algorithm there, bad results today, but I know tomorrow it's going to be good, so I hold on for it. And it's like I typically like starting with Facebook ads is just like an offer prover. It's like you give it the best chance that it possibly can. On Facebook ads, you see what your clicks are, you see everything, and you get the data back really fast too at the same time, and you get like the baseline for cost. And like depending on what that cost is at the beginning, even if it's not profitable at the beginning, that's fine, because typically your beginning product is the worst it's ever going to be. So it's like, okay, I just have to look at the numbers, see where it's people aren't converting. Like, what hops are they not doing? Is it that my ads have really low clicks, so I'm not motivating people to click to the landing page? Is it that I'm sending people to the landing page at a good cost, but they're not converting to the actual offer? So is it something I have to change there? Or is it like maybe my ads aren't that good? Or maybe my ads are duplicate content. Maybe I'm running the same, because a lot of affiliate partners or affiliate people, they provide creative for you. But the problem is everybody uses that creative, so it's absolutely pillaged. So I get that creative, then I'll do some edits to it so it doesn't hit that whole duplicate thing. Even if it's an image, I'll just put the Parent Trans logo in it, or like basically, you put something that's going to make it so AI can't tell that it's the exact same image. Do some auto levels on it, change the colors a little bit. If it's a video, a lot of the times I'll get like a video that isn't captioned and add hard captions to the bottom, and then maybe like a soft music in the background for it. So basically then you get credit like as okay, this is unique content, versus Facebook being like, all right, we got another degenerate here, another affiliate degenerate just trying to play our platform for sales. But yeah, and then from there I'll go and basically optimize the creative, try different things for it. It doesn't have to be perfect, and if anything, I like to start out weak, and that's for multiple reasons. Like I'll start out with weak copy because a lot of the times I want to make sure the ads are going to get approved and that I'm not going to have any ban problems with Facebook. Because once you start getting ads rejected, it's your account performs a bit worse. Like you do have an account quality that you can't see unless you know some really high up Facebook reps and you're like, tell me my score, and they tell you. That's a way to actually see it. But I'd like to start weak because I know this is the worst case scenario where it's like, if it's even 1-to-1 at that point, I spend $1, I get $1 back. I didn't lose anything in the end. Like I'm still, I'm good. It didn't have any cost or anything. But I know there's probably potential where I just need that 20%, 30%, 40% gain on it. And then it's like, okay, now we have a viable product where we could spend money behind it. Another advantage to the to Facebook ads and just ad scaling, and why I don't like doing organic stuff. I'll still do organic stuff on the side, and I'll get into that in a bit. But you really have a way of controlling the volume. Like it becomes like basically a tap where you can open it up and close it. Like it's very very linear in like how it scales, of course, until you get to that like 10,000 a day or 5, depending how big your audience is, etc. But for organic, it's like you could produce 100 organic, 5 will pop off, and they'll pop off at different times, and you won't really know. You don't have like a control. You're not just doing like a steady amount per day. Versus like when you could get ads going, it's like once you figure it out, you could add a 0 to the end, and it typically maybe loses a little bit of performance. Sometimes it gains performance, but there's an advantage there where it's just like, okay, I can triple this just by changing a number. Versus organic is like, I need to make 3 more pieces of content, so you're there editing. So when it comes to like scalability after the fact, ads are, in my opinion, the best, because it's like you prove the model with it, everything. It's like for your daily, you have very little daily variation for it, and once you spend more, your averages overall go up for it. So it's not like an organic strategy. I still will try organic, and what I try in organic is just trying to find out what like my next ads are going to be. So you want to look where everybody is. It's like, where's the eyeballs? Where are people basically where's all the attention on the internet right now? And the answer is like reels, shorts, TikToks. We've turned into, there's more, and I was told this 2 years ago, that there's more reel inventory than Facebook feed. No one scrolls their feed anymore because, family members, except, no, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's all through reels, reels, reels. So you can basically, you still have potential to go very, very viral on something that's absolute like good content, versus like if you do a Facebook post on a page with even like 100 followers, and you add hashtags and you do it perfect, you're probably not going to get any reach. If you do it on Instagram, you're not going to get any reach. But if you do a reel that's good, you can get like 500,000 views, you can get 1,000,000 views, you can like the numbers like organically are a lot better for it. So it's like, if you don't have an advertising budget, you can use shorts to make money, like shorts, reels, TikTok, to make money from it. And like, I've done it with a whole bunch of products where it was like 10,000 views, 50,000 views, etc. And from there, it lets you basically figure out like, okay, this is yeah, this is what's going to work for ads. So then at that point, I'll basically, yeah, go from there, and just kind of like figure out like, all right, if this reel works, let's try to put some ad spend behind it. Let's create some ads like this. Like, we're on to something here. So I'll use organic at the same time, and that's just for my method because I have money to put into ad spend. I use it for information, but you can also make a decent amount of money with organic, and you learn some really good skills and etc. So the next kind of goes to scaling, and that's somewhat part of it. So I typically, after Facebook is successful, it's so important to just keep everybody, like, even when I got results, I'm guilty too. I'm guilty, guys. I was getting massive results on Facebook ads with my first affiliate product, and it was making like thousands and thousands of dollars per day. And you kind of let off the gas. I was doing like, well, I can only spend 5 minutes. I only need to spend 5 minutes a day on it. Fuck it, you know. Let's just go there. But it's really, you should start the expansion and try other stuff at that point, because if you have something that's proven, it'll likely work on other networks. You may have to do changes for it. But like, I'll go into the next thing I'll do is, after Facebook works, is I expand into YouTube, TikTok, and Google search. And then if Google search works, I'll go into like Google search. If it works on Google search, it works on Bing ads. So that's like an extra whatever, like 20% ad spend per day. But the other networks, it's like, if you could get another one that works, so many businesses and strategies are just like, you crack it one way and then you hang up, you hang up your jacket and you're like, all right, I'm going to the bar, going to drink, when really it's like, you should keep striving to crack it. It'll provide more longevity for it, because a lot of these offers are, and you have to realize it, in 10 years, am I still going to be promoting the same product? No, probably not. It's possible. This product I'm promoting, it's lasted, we're up to 3 years, I guess, maybe, all of 2020, 2021. Yeah, so it's lasted for a long time, but I expect it like rocket fuel. And that's why, like, at that point, that's when you should be looking at, okay, how can I add more? So if one fizzles out, you have like the average, and you always have, like, the more you do, the more stable your income and everything's going to be for it. You don't want it, just mess with your mind if one day you made $2,000 and the next day you lost $100, and then the next day you made $500, and it's always bouncing around. It's hard to make decisions when you do that. So if you have multiple offers up, like I'm considering putting like 100 offers on this year, and not all of them will work either. And you have to realize that, sometimes there's going to be a loser, and what you need to do from it is just gain the knowledge and figure out why it lost. Like, what is it? Does the audience not like it? Do people just not convert? Is it my landing page? Is it my ads? Is it just not a good product, not a good offer? So that's like one of the things that you really have to just think about in general. Like what is, yeah, what's the longevity going to be? What made me fail? Why did this one not work and the other ones did work? Look at what other people are doing for that product. Be like, what did I do that was different? What are they doing that's right? If they're spending money on it, like you could see when they're spending money on an offer, and it's a good indicator. Just check it out. See if there's something that you maybe missed out on, or like that's how I even find new strategies. A lot of the times, like I've launched 7 offers, 5 of them were profitable. But even when I found for the other 2, I haven't given up yet. They're probably going to become profitable. They're close, but I've found all these other strategies people are using for it, and I'm not doing I'm not just saving the page and reposting it. No, I'm like, okay, why does this work and why didn't mine? Questioning it, because the more up to date you can get on like the marketing meta and what's working, the easier your life's going to be. It does change over time, and that's why you want to stay hungry for it. That's one of the big things, definitely. And also at this point, feel free, ask me any kind of questions that you have about the whole process. But this is exactly what I'm going to be doing this year. See, the funny thing is I give the keys away for it, and there's not many people who actually try it. Even people with the knowledge to do everything even on their own. I've given away so much information, and I've literally made significant amounts of money with it, and it's like, how many people are actually going to try it? Seeing if I could find I threw my awards somewhere. I just don't even care. The awards are just dumb. It's clickbait stuff. Help get viewership and everything. But definitely let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to basically cut this off at the 1 hour mark. So we got like 9 minutes left for it. I don't want it to be long. So like the whole thing is I could go on, and I do. Check out my video from last night. It was like 3 hours. I could go on forever. But I want somebody who is watching this to be watching a reasonable amount of time and then go off and actually start to do what they have to do for it. Start checking off all the boxes of like, okay, what stage am I on now? And also ask yourself, like, what's stopping me from getting out of this stage? Am I being a perfectionist? Am I trying to spend too much time on the name? Am I too indecisive on it? It's like, make a list, make some pros and cons, do whatever you can to get past that point, because it's so easy to get caught on step 1, niche. It's like, it's unlimited possibilities. Well, guess what? You can make 27 niche sites if you want. I have multiple. I only show you guys one of them. I do have my secret hidden ones that I'm not going to tell you guys about. We got to have our own stuff, but this is just kind of my like, I'm proving the model to the world, just because I'm also tired of people questioning about stuff like the whole Pinterest organic. And if I'm not going to get questions, then I'm just going to rant about that stupid method. Well, it's stupid now. It used to work. You have to be really careful of methods that previously worked that do not work now, and like Pinterest organic is one of them, where you're putting so much time equity into it. They're like, oh, you just go follow people and you post pins that have affiliate links and blah 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 blah, and it's like, why doesn't that work anymore? Because they recognize what you're doing. Like, these platforms aren't dumb. If they see you're putting like sale links in your pins and everything else, they're just going to deprioritize them for organic. So they basically kick the legs out from under you, where it's like the whole thing was, oh, it was easy to go organically huge on Pinterest. Well, it's not anymore, because now they know what you're doing. They see it. They don't believe it's a good user experience. Plus, it never was the best platform. I've advertised on every single platform. Pinterest, it's at the lower pack. Their algorithm isn't that good. And everybody, you got to think, like, the people on Pinterest, they're not buyers. These guys are window shoppers. When you're on Pinterest, you're just like adding stuff like, okay, Bugatti, $1 trillion mansion, etc. You're not in buyer mindset. You're just kind of in content mindset. Not that you are on Facebook, but Facebook does some stuff with the algorithm that makes it really good. Like, they know where you're surfing and everything else. But if the method requires, like, the methods to stay away from, number 1 is like older stuff that no longer works anymore. Like, to see when this course was created. If it's a couple years old, they probably haven't updated it or anything. And number 2 is like the MLM learn how to do affiliate marketing by selling my course. Those usually lead to ad account bans. And the reason why they have to do it is because they're so policy and compliant that they've already lost all their ad accounts. So they're like, we need other people to take the risk to promote it. So they promote it to you, to promote it to others, and then you take all the risk for it. Like, one thing you can really see with affiliate advertisers that are teaching you is basically, yeah, are they teaching you to make money that benefits them, or are they teaching you to actually make money that doesn't benefit them? Like, are they just making money from the course? And there is some really good courses for it, but stay away from like the John Cristanis and everybody of the world. His information is great. Like, he does give a lot of information, but in the end, you're just promoting his course. It's like the whole, MLM period scheme, etc. There is some courses I'd recommend. Actually, my previous company is doing like publishing with some of those courses. If you're interested in it, I'll forward you along. Like, there is one that just talks about leads and everything. I'd get no commission from it. There's no benefit. Like I said, if I try to sell you anything, I got to eat my cactus. So it's just like, if you're interested in something that's other than this method, etc., and you're like, oh, Matt, you got anything to sell me? No, not yet. I'll do a course at some point, but the course is not going to teach how to make me more money. It'll teach how to make other people more money. And this is really just my proving grounds and my learning grounds. Like, I'm learning. One thing with affiliate is you learn so much. Okay, thanks for doing these, Matt. I was a copywriter and made around 100 advertorials in 2021 for 2 big brands until I quit from burnout. Man, 100 advertorials. Ugh, I can imagine. Had no clue what affiliate marketing was or what I could have done if I learned how to promote the offers myself. Yeah, see, it's interesting. You could do all the work for affiliate offers and still not understand. Like, I was in the agency. I spent so much money, crazy amounts of money on ads, and I didn't understand affiliate. It's like not understanding e-com or something like that. But it's kind of like a lot of the people in this digital space, you already have the skills in order to do it. So it's like, if you're a copywriter, like, honestly, this stuff is best for copy. I'm the worst copywriter in the bloody world. I'm hoping AI takes over, because that's the only chance I got at being a good copywriter. But I use my other strengths to like give myself an advantage there. But if you could like understand like how the whole system works and really just reverse engineer it, that's where you can win. Like, I didn't go into this with a strategy. I made my own strategy. I was like, well, I guess I'll try this. Like, I don't know what other people are doing. Maybe this will work. And of course, like, I had the advantage of marketing knowledge and like how you normally do it. And because of like the way I did it, it was a more ethical, better method. And if I had that prior knowledge, I probably would have done a worse job in general. It's also amazing how many I've been adding a lot of Facebook friends lately, just increasing my network and everything. It's good to connect to entrepreneurs, good people in general, but it's amazing how many copywriters wrote for Agora and all those other big companies. And a lot of these guys, like, they could rate some of the best copy I've ever seen. Of course, you got to make it compliant too. And Agora does a 4 out of 10 job on that, but they have other advantages for being so big. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, damn, that's like one of the key parts, and you really don't have to struggle on that, is the copy side. So you just have to learn the rest of the system, which is like, finding the offer, doing the publication. If you know how to do advertorial stuff, amazing. And even in general, it's like, sometimes on my side, I'll partner up with a copywriter and being like, hey, I got this offer. Let's I'll do my stuff, you do your stuff, let's split it, revenue. Because sometimes it works out better that way. And there's nothing wrong with having a team of people, because it's like, would you rather group up and make money, or do it yourself and be frustrated and not make money? It also can give you motivation. It's one of those things where it holds you accountable too at the same time. If it wasn't for my previous business partner holding me accountable, the agency wouldn't have got as big as it did. We wouldn't have had the same amount of success. Like, partnerships can be really good. You just have to be very clear on like what the partnership is, what the tasks are, and make sure that it's going to be an even amount of workflow. And when it doesn't become that way, you're really talking about, okay, how do we hire so it's fair on this side, and what do we want? What are our goals? Or is this a one-off thing? Like, you don't have to partner for the whole publication, but maybe do an offer together with somebody, and that could become a good deal. I have a couple really good friends that I'm likely going to be doing some stuff in the e-com affiliate space coming up this year, where it's, it's good people that I trust. He's versed in his own thing. I'm versed in mine. I'm willing to even do more work to partner up with this guy. And just like, we'll split the profit on our end. We're not trying to make a massive business or anything like that. It's just like, hey, let's try this and go with it. But this is 1 hour mark. It's hitting right now. So appreciate everybody watching. If you guys have any questions, please ask. That's what I'm here for. It makes it easier. I had a full out chat last night, and it was so good. I know you're there for it as well. It was really good on my side because I don't have to just make all the content and talk to myself like a lunatic all the time. I'm here to help you with it. So yeah, appreciate everybody that joined. Definitely, like, if you appreciate the content and want to help me out on my side, like the videos, stuff like that, the engagements really make a difference. And because I'm not kid friendly, it's hard for me to get pushed out to algorithms. So it's like subscribing on my channels, liking the videos, sharing, anything like that, I highly appreciate on my side. If that could be done for me, that is yeah, that's like, how do you help me directly? And that's why I'll keep creating these. Like I said, my income source is made all from what you see right here. So like, I don't need to make money from this, but if I could have a whole group of people, really smart people doing affiliate stuff, we'll be able to get a lot more done. I don't think this is a solo game. Affiliate's not a solo thing. And I wouldn't view it as that. It doesn't have to be. Like, you could have a community and everybody can win too at the same time. The world is massive. Everybody can win. I want to be an entrepreneur and a philanthropist, where if I make money, others make money as well. So anyways, we'll end at that. Thanks everybody who joined. Appreciate you. And maybe I'll stream later. I got to work on all these offers that I talked about, so I probably will. Anyways.